Welcome to my channel BBC Rare Coins. Think that penny in your pocket is just spare change? Think again. MoneyAg, some of the rarest and most expensive wheat pennies in U.S. history have sold for tens of thousands, even over $100,000. Let's start it. Top 1. In a world full of forgotten change and overlooked coins, one small copper penny from 1941 shocked collectors and auction houses alike when it sold for an unbelievable $73,000. That's right, just one tiny cent, something most people walk past or leave at the bottom of a drawer, became one of the most valuable and legendary coins in the history of the United States. And today, we're diving deep into the mystery, the rarity, and the incredible story of the 1941 wheat penny that left everyone speechless. At first glance, 1941 wheat penny doesn't look like much. In fact, over 1 billion of them were produced between the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. They're one of the most common years when it comes to Lincoln wheat cents, which were minted from 1909 to 1958. But within that massive production, there are hidden treasures. There's one version of this penny that is so rare, so unusual, and so prized by collectors that it turned a simple piece of copper into a five-figure fortune. We're talking about a specific 1941 wheat penny that contains a rare and almost mythical minting error, the double die obverse. This error occurred during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin's design shifted slightly and struck the coin more than once, but not in perfect alignment. The result? A dramatic doubling effect that's visible in key areas of the coin, especially in the date, the word liberty, and the iconic phrase, "In God We Trust." That doubling makes this coin incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. This isn't just a rumor in coin collecting circles. It's been confirmed and sold. One example of this coin, in stunning near-perfect condition, was auctioned off for a staggering $73,000. Imagine holding a penny in your hand and realizing it's worth more than a brand-new sports car. That's not a dream, it's real. It's happened. And it could happen again. Collectors around the world are obsessed with coins that feature dramatic errors, and for good reason. Minting errors are like the wild cards of numismatics. They're unintentional, rare, and often unique. And the 1941 double die wheat penny isn't just rare, it's one of the holy grails. The chances of finding one in circulation are incredibly slim, but not zero. Some of these coins went unnoticed for decades, tucked away in jars, passed down in families, or simply saved out of curiosity. Then, years later, someone takes a closer look and discovers they've been holding a piece of American history worth tens of thousands of dollars. But what makes this coin so valuable isn't just the error itself, it's the condition. Most coins from the 1940s have been through decades of wear and tear. But the $73,000 example? It was in such pristine condition that it looked like it had just left the mint. The sharpness of the strike, the clean surfaces, the strong luster, everything about it was top tier. In coin grading terms, it was nearly flawless, and that perfection combined with the rare error is what drove collectors into a bidding frenzy. Now, think about this for a second. A penny, just one, worth more than most people's yearly salary. That's the magic of numismatics. It turns everyday objects into extraordinary finds. And that's why collectors are still combing through their pocket change, scouring old jars, and flipping through inherited collections in hopes of finding the next legendary coin. The 1941 double die wheat penny isn't the only rare coin out there, but it's one of the most famous. It stands as proof that even the smallest details matter. A tiny shift in a minting press, a small doubling in the date, and suddenly you've got a coin worth more than 7 million times its face value. It's a reminder to always pay attention, to look twice, to never assume a coin is just a coin. Even more fascinating is how overlooked this coin was for so long. With billions minted in 1941, many collectors thought there was nothing special about that year. But then, these rare error coins started surfacing. Word spread. Photos were shared. And then came the auctions, where bids climbed higher and higher until that unforgettable moment when one lucky penny reached a jaw-dropping $73,000. And here's the part that really gives collectors goosebumps. There could still be more out there. Somewhere in an old coffee can, tucked away in a dusty attic, resting quietly in an old collection binder, another 1941 double die penny could be waiting to be discovered. That's the thrill of this world. That's the magic. You never know what you might have until you take a closer look. So, the next time you get change at a store, don't just toss those pennies aside. Flip them over. Check the date. Look at the details. Use a magnifying glass if you have to. Because one of those ordinary-looking pennies might not be so ordinary after all. It might be history. It might be treasure. It might be the next $73,000 surprise. There are a lot of valuable coins in U.S. history, but few have caused as much excitement and curiosity as the 1941 wheat penny with the double die error. It's more than a coin. It's a story, a mystery, and a symbol of just how incredible the world of coin collecting can be. 1 cent, one error, one massive payout. Thanks for watching. If this story blew your mind, imagine what else is hiding in the world of coins. Keep your eyes open, your hands digging through change, and your curiosity alive. Because in the world of wheat pennies, anything is possible and fortunes could be hiding in plain sight. Top 2. In a world where pocket change is often overlooked, there exists a hidden treasure, small, copper, and often dismissed as worthless. But sometimes, history hides in plain sight. And in one unbelievable case, a simple 1942 wheat penny turned out to be one of the most valuable coins in American history. It didn't just surprise coin collectors, it shocked them. This single penny, believed to be worth just 1 cent, went on to sell for an astonishing $68,000. That's not a typo. $68,000. For a single copper coin minted in the middle of World War II. Welcome to the incredible story of one of the rarest, most expensive, and most viral coins to ever come out of the U.S. Mint. The 1942 wheat penny is a coin almost everyone has seen. With Abraham Lincoln on the front, 2 wheat stalks on the back, and its classic copper color, it's part of the legendary wheat penny series that ran from 1909 to 1958. These pennies were in the pockets of soldiers, factory workers, school kids, and presidents. But out of the hundreds of millions minted in 1942, one particular version is unlike any other, and that's the one that stunned collectors and auction houses with a price tag that could buy a luxury car, pay off student loans, or even buy a small home. So what makes this particular 1942 penny so valuable? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and error. Most wheat pennies are worth only a few cents. Some might go for a couple of dollars if they're in excellent shape. But this one? It has the perfect storm of qualities that make collectors lose their minds. Let's break it down. First, the error. During wartime, especially around 1942, the U.S. Mint was dealing with supply issues. Materials were being redirected to support the war effort. There were experiments with different metals and changes in production processes. Somewhere in this chaotic moment in history, something happened. A rare minting error occurred, possibly a wrong planchet being used, or an overstrike, or a misalignment. And while most of these mistakes get caught and destroyed, just a few, slip through the cracks. One of those survivors is the legendary 1942 wheat penny that sold $4.68,000. Next, condition. Coins are graded based on their wear, strike sharpness, luster, and overall appearance. This specific 1942 penny wasn't just rare, it was in near-perfect, mint-state condition. That means it had full detail, no heavy scratches, and an original shine that looked like it just left the mint. This kind of preservation is beyond rare. We're talking about a coin that sat untouched for decades, hidden from the elements, protected from wear, and preserved like a time capsule. That kind of condition alone can multiply a coin's value. But when combined with a rare error and a limited known population, that's when values start skyrocketing. Now, imagine finding this penny. You open an old cigar box from your grandfather, or you dump out a jar of coins you've been tossing change into for years. Among the nickels and dimes, there's a 1942 wheat penny. You take a closer look. Something seems off. The color is strange. The lettering looks doubled. The weight feels different. You bring it to an expert, and suddenly, you're holding a coin worth more than most people's annual salary. This exact scenario played out for one lucky individual who had their 1942 wheat penny appraised and authenticated, then sold at auction for a mind-blowing $68,000. The news spread like wildfire through the coin-collecting world. Social media exploded. Articles were written, and collectors everywhere started scrambling to check their own collections. Because where there's one, there could be more. What makes this story even more exciting is that coins like these are still being discovered. Unlike rare artwork or lost treasures buried underground, these wheat pennies are hiding in plain sight. In old drawers, in forgotten coin books, in the back of a grandparent's closet. They aren't locked away in museums, they're still out there, waiting to be found. The 1942 wheat penny's value isn't just about its metal or its error. It's about the story it tells. A coin made during wartime, when America was on the edge of transformation. A coin that survived generations untouched. A coin that represents a moment frozen in copper. Every scratchless edge, every microscopic detail, every part of its untouched surface carries history, and that history has value. If you're watching this thinking, it's just a penny, you're not alone. That's what most people think. But this is your sign to start looking more closely. Grab a magnifying glass. Start checking dates. Pay attention to details. Because while most pennies are worth 1 cent, every so often, one of them changes everything. The 1942 wheat penny that sold for $68,000 is proof that there are still secrets hiding in the smallest corners of our lives. That even something as ordinary as a penny can be extraordinary. So if you have a box of old coins, if you've inherited a collection, or even if you just want to start hunting for treasure in your spare time, now's the time. The next viral discovery could be in your hands. Don't ignore the little things. Don't underestimate what looks ordinary. Because in the world of rare coins, even a penny can rewrite your story. Top 3. Sometimes, the most extraordinary treasures come in the smallest, most ordinary forms. A single copper coin, no bigger than your thumbnail, and worth just 1 cent when it was made. Today, that same coin has become one of the most talked about and valuable pieces in American numismatic history. We're talking about the legendary 1946 wheat penny that shocked the coin collecting world when it sold for an astonishing $61,000. Yes, a penny, just one, sold for more than most people's annual income. This is the story of one of the rarest, most expensive, and most viral coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. At first glance, the 1946 wheat penny seems completely ordinary. Millions were minted across the United States that year, just after World War II ended. The nation was adjusting back to peacetime, and coins were flowing freely again after wartime metal restrictions. The penny, made mostly from copper, was a symbol of normalcy returning to America. But hidden among the millions of everyday coins minted that year, a very small number were anything but normal. One of them would later become a numismatic legend. What makes this particular 1946 wheat penny worth $61,000? 3 words: rarity, error, and condition. That's the powerful trio that transforms a basic copper coin into a national sensation. Let's start with the rarity. While 1946 wheat pennies aren't rare in general, there exists a micropopulation of them that were struck using incorrect planchets, metal blanks that weren't meant to be used for regular pennies. Some experts believe that during the transitional period post-war, a few foreign coin blanks were accidentally used in the U.S. Mint. Others think that leftover experimental metal blanks were mistakenly fed into the presses. The result? A penny that looks just a little different in color, in weight, even in sound. A mistake so subtle, most people would never notice. But to collectors, it's a golden ticket. Next is the error itself. Errors on coins happen when something goes wrong during the minting process. Wrong dies, off-center strikes, double dies, or, in this case, a planchet error. Some 1946 pennies were struck on planchets meant for other countries or struck in bronze instead of the expected copper alloy. These error coins are so rare, they can go years without being seen. But when they appear, especially in high-grade condition, they can fetch prices that break records. That's exactly what happened with the 1946 error wheat penny that sold for $61,000. It had the perfect blend of mistake and mystery, a hidden gem that passed through countless hands before someone realized what they were holding. And then comes condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Most coins from 1946 show signs of wear, scratches, dings, discoloration. But the $61,000 penny was pristine, nearly flawless. Sharp edges, clear lettering, brilliant luster. Graded at the top of the scale, it looked like it had just left the mint yesterday. That kind of preservation is almost impossible for a coin nearly 80 years old. And that kind of condition, paired with a known mint error, sends the value into the stratosphere. Imagine this for a moment. You're cleaning out your garage, sorting through an old shoebox of coins your grandfather left behind. You pick up a 1946 penny. It looks kind of shiny, kind of odd. You look closer. Something's different. You take it to a coin shop. They take a second look, then a third. Suddenly, you're getting calls from collectors, from auction houses, from experts across the country. That's how fast things can change when a rare coin is discovered. And that's exactly what happened when the legendary 1946 error penny surfaced and was authenticated. It wasn't just a sale, it was a viral moment. News spread fast. Videos were made. Coin forums lit up. People started digging through their old change, searching for their own fortune hidden in copper. And why not? Because if one 1946 wheat penny could sell for $61,000, who's to say there isn't another one out there right now, sitting in a jar, waiting to be found? That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not about hoarding or luck. It's about history, attention to detail, and the thrill of the hunt. These coins are time travelers, carrying the past into the present. Every scratch tells a story. Every imperfection could be a clue. And sometimes, those clues lead to something extraordinary. Wheat pennies are already one of the most beloved coin series in U.S. history. From 1909 to 1958, they were part of everyday American life. But within that long run, a few standouts rise above the rest. The 1946 $61,000 penny is one of those legends, a perfect storm of rarity, error, and condition that made it unforgettable. So what should you do? Start checking. Open that old coin folder. Dump out that change jar. Look at the dates. Feel the weight. Use a magnifying glass. You never know what you might find. Because every so often, hidden among the ordinary, is a coin that breaks the rules, breaks the mold, and breaks the bank. The 1946 wheat penny is proof that treasure still exists. It's a reminder that the past is alive and well, and sometimes it's hiding in plain sight. A single cent that became a symbol of what's possible when passion, history, and curiosity come together. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, amazed you, or just made you reach for your wallet to check the date on your own pennies, make sure to stay tuned. Because in the world of rare coins, one small discovery can change everything. Keep collecting, stay curious, and who knows? The next big find might already be in your pocket.